between Bayern and PSG is going to inevitably win the whole thing and be champions of Europe. Just my personal thoughts and opinions, But it was a good game regardless. Very happy, very proud with everything, and how everything went. Because you know what, like, it was a good game. It was a great watch. As I said, Porto Chelsea was extremely boring. So here we are. I want to cover a couple things because, of course, we cut out at 10:30 today for Ethan and Ira to come in and do Inside the Paint. That'll be moving to Monday, by the way. So they'll start Mondays from 10 to 11. This will be the last time it's on Thursday. But starting on Monday, they'll do 10 to 11. So they'll do an hour. So it doesn't necessarily cut into the middle of a show. And it's a full hour and it goes ahead. And it doesn't cut like in the middle of the week. So it's a little bit odd there. But we'll have everything going. We do have YouTube up now. And I want to wait to bring Sean in because, of course, I like to introduce Sean. But I wait until he's ready to go. He is doing a lot of work, making sure that everything behind the scenes does not break down, which I and everyone else here very, very much appreciate because, man, Sean, do you make life easy? Obviously because, it's hard to do this in general, but you make life much easier on me, so I appreciate that a lot. But what were some other things? Oh, yeah, so I wanted to talk about the E-Minute. So, like I said, Inside the Paint's going to be moving starting next week on Monday. They'll do 10 to 11, and they'll do an hour, so it doesn't cut into the middle of, in the middle of my show. My show will be an hour on Mondays going forward, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it'll be 2 hours. But it doesn't cut, in the middle of a show and everything. It works better. It's better for everyone that does it. So that works out very, very well, and that'll be great. And, of course, I love listening to Ira talk, and Ethan, I like Ethan as well. And them talking together, I think, is great. So I also look forward to that because I get to hear it and everything like that and enjoy all the conversations that they get to have together. But I wanted to mention the E-Minute that Toast made, and I'm glad that he made it. And I'm glad that he got to that because if it was going to be something different, I would have been like, man, this is Good Morning Troy, by the way, on YouTube. If that wasn't about the E-Minute, I was going to be super upset because it's something that, again, of course, 100 Thieves is one of my favorite gaming organizations out there, along with, of course, the Florida Mutineers, because they do, which is technically Misfits Gaming, which Florida Mutineers is the Florida Call of Duty team. And then I like, there's a couple other organizations that I was huge fans of that don't exist anymore. But there was huge, huge news in the gaming world with 100 Thieves yesterday where they went ahead and had two of their content creators who were some of the first to join and be very big parts of building their content creation, both at their content house that they had for quite some time and still have, and then also just in general. I mean, the two of them and Valkyrie and Courage JD, they have done an outstanding job for themselves on YouTube. Some of the biggest creators that you can find on the YouTube platform. Good morning, NorCal. Yeah, we'll get it figured out. Don't worry about everything. It's all good. No, he said in the dark. But also, man, I need to get a haircut. Looking at myself in this, do you see the puff in the back there? This hair needs to get cut immediately. I look like an idiot. Jesus, what a horrible situation to be in. Anyhow, they became co-owners. They now have equity in the company, and they've been very, very big parts, like I said, of them, or of 100 Thieves, building kind of what they are as a brand, building what they are as a gaming organization. And it's huge news because one of the things that was big is that, the stories of everything. Courage, also known as Jack Dunlop, he started out being an intern working for free for Major League Gaming. Then he went on for Major League Gaming to start doing stuff, in commentary for Call of Duty, commentating over games and doing stuff a lot with Maven, who's, I don't remember Maven's first name, but he did, they were the casters. They were the two main casters for MLG. And then at the height of his casting, being that A team for MLG and all the Call of Duty events, he jumped ship to be a full-time content creator, joined Optic Gaming, one of the biggest gaming organizations in the world. And then he jumped ship from Optic when they were kind of on the downtrend and signed with 100 Thieves. And he since then moved from Twitch and streaming on Twitch to streaming on YouTube, and he's become a very big content creator on YouTube. And it's just kind of that story, he has gone through and built his platform and done so many great things. He's worked with Ariana Grande on stuff, and just like he's gone ahead and done fantastic things and just beyond gaming. From being a gaming, content creator, streamer, YouTuber, he's done fantastic. And then on the other end, with Valkyrie, she has done, and that her name is Rachel Hofstetter. She's done an insane job as well. I mean, she went from, and her story that she tells all the time, and it's amazing as well. She goes from working at GameStop and just kind of having a little Instagram where she would post stuff and she would talk about games and everything like that, and doing all this stuff, to one day, someone telling her she should stream, so she starts streaming and she starts to grow on Twitch. And she was in conversations with other organizations to join before she had officially joined 100 Thieves like 3 years ago. And she mentions it in her video, and when they're talking about everything, when she first joined the team, that 100 Thieves came in at the last minute. So this is something that now she is a co-owner of, along with Dan Gilbert, Drake, and Scooter Braun. That this is that, and of course Courage and Nadeshot. And she then joins 100 Thieves, starts to become a very big content creator for them, and she's one of the biggest YouTube streamers and has had the biggest growth of any YouTube streamer and female streamer, and which is a huge deal in the gaming world, because that on its own is just huge on its own for her. And she has become its own thing. I mean, they put out something that the second biggest streamer to her, I think, is Pokimane, where it was like 6 million watch time or something like that. And she almost nearly doubled it with like 12 point something. Or like, it was like she had like 6.7, and then I think she had like 12.4. It's like 12.4 like million hours of watch time or something like that. It's around there. Is insane. I mean, she has done a fantastic job. She's now putting out music. She was in a music video with Machine Gun Kelly. She has done a fantastic job on her own. It's two fantastic stories. I mean, coming ahead and going from being in the positions they were, right? You go from being an intern for free at a gaming company, and now you're a co-owner of an organization. You go from working at GameStop and just kind of posting on Instagram and having that be a little thing that you enjoyed a lot. Now you're a co-owner of an organization. And Nadeshot, the CEO, and I'm guessing has obviously more equity than them, and I think Dan Gilbert's kind of one of the other ones. The CEO of the company was working at McDonald's. And he was able to get Drake, Dan Gilbert, and Scooter Braun to buy equity and be co-owners of his organization that he started. And that was huge, especially considering that it wasn't even that old at the time when everything happened. So it's all three of their stories. The fact that all three of them, seemingly from the outside looking in, look like great friends and everything like that. It's an outstanding story. And it's a congratulations to Valkyrie, to Courage, because going ahead and making that happen for yourselves is awesome, and that's going to be great to watch for the future. So we're going to hit a break, and then we're going to talk about the Dolphins when we come back. I just wanted to touch on that because I'm a huge gaming fan, and of course this is, I think, is awesome just for this situation to happen. Catch a South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Donno hosts the Man of the Match from 3 to 6 p.m. Donno covers everything from football to MMA. Tune into one of the most complete sports shows in the country with the Man of the Match with Alex Donno, 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively at onsiteradio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
When we're talking about building it and building things right, like EJD Construction does, when we're talking about building things right, look at what the Dolphins have done with free agency over the past couple of years. Just look at last year's deal. Which contract did you sign last year that was a good contract? That did you feel like you've got value for? Do you feel like the players are going to play the entire duration of their career? You feel like you're not overpaying?
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
Enter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Hey, it's Big O. You know, air quality in your home or business is so important now, folks. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning. Let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. M&S is always on call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. and, of course, emergency Sundays. Call for more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans. Visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. So now we're getting into some sports stuff. I did just want to comment on that because I myself, yesterday while I was at work, I was waiting for that big announcement and to come from 100 Thieves and Valkyrie Encouraged, and I was watching streams, and I remember one of my bosses was like, what are you listening to? Are they talking about stocks? And I was like, no, it's something's supposed to be announced, and apparently it's supposed to be big, and there's a press release being waited. I thought it was going to be something completely different. I thought they were going to bring in a different content creator, and I was completely wrong and blown away. And of course, I just think, like I said, it's great stuff there. We have our polls for the day, and I want to make sure and copy and paste this in the YouTube so that those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you don't already see them or you don't already follow me, you can go ahead and get that. Anyhow, we have our polls for the day. Of course, you can find them if you're listening on my Twitter at Samurai Radio, 2 I's in Samurai, and then Radio, RADIO. You can also find them on the Onside Radio Twitter. That's at Onside Radio, of course, retweeted out by them. We have 4 polls for the day, as we usually do, though. On Thursday, sometimes I like to keep it light. We don't have a guest today because I just kind of decided that I was going to go full through today and then get some people or get another person on tomorrow because we'll have Ira on as well tomorrow. So we'll talk to him and we'll get all his thoughts on the Heat. They have a big matchup today, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I wanted to cover the polls today. So we have 4 polls like usual, except for on Thursdays, but now it's going to be like usual in general here. The first one is, which wide receiver are you keeping? This, of course, strictly on the Miami Dolphins. Option A being Preston Williams. Option B being Lynn Bowden Jr. C being Albert Wilson. And D being 19, also known as Jakeem Grant. Preston Williams right now running away with the vote. Lynn Bowden Jr. is kind of, it kind of went in order, which is funny. A, B, C, D, which I was not expecting. You know, Preston at the top, LBJ at, 2, Albert at 3, and then 19 at 4. Right now, it's really just between Bowden and Williams. Number 2 on this one is, did the hype for Tua coming out of the draft hurt his ability to make mistakes? Little asterisk mark there. In the eyes of the media. Because I think as fans and I think analysts and those who really break everything down, we know that Tua was hyped a lot, and Tua's been hurt in terms of what people have said about him, but he's not as bad as people say, and he's not as good as people say, at least right now, off of his first 9 games. He wasn't as bad as everyone said he was, and he wasn't as good as a lot of people have said he, was. And that's what it is, right? Like, that's just how it goes all the time with these things. So the question is, did the hype for Tua coming out of the draft hurt his ability to make mistakes? meaning like, when he's, whatever it is, throwing a ball away, throwing an interception, et cetera, but in the eyes of the media specifically. 85.4% saying yes, 14.6% saying no. Third on that is biggest chance to be a bust. This out of the NFL draft quarterbacks this season. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. Right now, it's pretty close between Jones and Wilson. 32.6% for Mac Jones, 31.6% for Zach Wilson. That one's pretty close. Justin Fields is kind of the bottom one there. I agree with that as well. And then Trey Lance also at the bottom. So it's kind of interesting that that's kind of how this has gone, Mac Jones and Zach Wilson leading the race to be the busts there with Trey Lance, and then a little bit on, Justin Fields. And then the follow-up to that came with the next question, which is, from those above, which has the biggest chance to lead their team to a Super Bowl? Who do you think is the biggest bust, and who do you think is the biggest boom? It obviously makes sense going back from how the votes are going now. Justin Fields running away with it at 52.6% of the vote. And it's actually pretty close between Trey Lance and Zach Wilson for third. And then Mac Jones at second at 18.4%. Coming in from NorCal in the YouTube chat saying, I love Preston, but I'll pay Bowden. That's my thing. So, we were talking yesterday in the Extra Yard, which is a show I do on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And we had Royal on yesterday, which was actually pretty great. So we had the Royal Wednesday here at Kai's Corner, and then we had Royal on yesterday. It was like an hour and a half of just pure comedy and fun. I loved every second of it. But I do that with Juan Cardona, who hosts Juan on Juan, and then Michael Christian, the former host of Game Night here. So we do that every single Wednesday at 7 o'clock now. And we talked about in detail all the wide receivers, and we mentioned, position by position, who you're keeping, which is kind of what inspired me for this, because I like to listen back to everything I do, whether it's the show, in segments. I like to listen to how I'm saying certain things, adjust from that, kind of like studying my own film, essentially, and just through audio. And I like to, look at what I do wrong, look at what I do well, and try to adjust and get better every single day, because I feel like, this is my craft. I love to do it, so I want to try to improve every single day that I do everything. So I was watching back and listening back listening, not watching. Listening back as I was driving to the stadium this morning. And I got to about, I would say like the hour mark, because I went to get Dunkin' Donuts and everything like that. I got my coffee, which was really nice. But I'm listening back to it, and we were talking about the wide receivers, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a poll for today. Like, for sure, this is going to be one of my polls for today, without a doubt. It's going to be about the wide receivers, because I think we all look at it like Allen Hurns is probably not going to be on the roster. 19 you're going to keep because he's a good kick return and punt return specialist. The question marks come with, Preston, Bowden, and Albert Wilson. One of the things that I mentioned last night is that a lot of these teams that have had these players that weren't superstars bow out and not opt into playing last season, which isn't an indictment on them. If I was an NFL player last season, no shot would I have played. I know it went off without a hitch and everything was fine ultimately, and all the games went through and they had a season, Super Bowl on time. But we still did not know quite much, if anything, about what was happening with the virus. And that was one of the things that I was scared of. I mean, I would go, I get my second shot next Tuesday. I'm very excited for it, of the Moderna. But I was scared just working at my park, working where I work. It was scary. So I would have never traveled and done all this. If I was an NFL player, I would have opted out. That's just how I feel. But I mentioned it last night because it's true. Some of these players have gotten some crap from their teams and fans, and ultimately it is a business, because they'll look at it saying, you opted out and we had a season go off without a hitch. We had the Super Bowl on time and you stayed at home. So that's the reason why I think Albert Wilson's kind of on the edge there. Coming in from Troy Ortiz in the YouTube chat says, I want to see if Preston can stay healthy this year. If not, pay Bowden. I like Lynn Bowden Jr. a lot. I really, really like Lynn Bowden Jr. a lot. Yesterday, I was having a little fun with everything. Royal was getting me way too hyped, man. Every time I'm talking with Royal, especially for a prolonged period of time, it's just I love bouncing off of Royal because it's just so much fun to just he's an entertainer. Royal is an entertainer at his heart and soul. But I was talking to him, and we were all talking, and I said, like, I was like, whatever, you know, if you get a good receiver, then you're not going to really need Lynn Bowden. But he did a lot good last year, and I really like him. And the issue with Preston has continued to be his health. If Preston is not going to be healthy, then there's no reason to have him on the roster. He's an insane talent. An absolutely insane talent. But if he's not going to be healthy, then there's no reason to keep him on the roster. That's just what it is. Health is the number one thing above all else. Next one there from NorCal in the YouTube chat says, I'm just really happy Greer has built the depth players up to the point we hate losing any of them. I expect big things in 2021. I agree. I expect big things in 2021. I expect the team to do better. I expect to see the wide receiver room do better. I expect to see us get something at number 6. You know, it's not off of the fact that it's... I think this is where some things have become misconstrued with the Dolphins. Expectations have turned into expectations because of what we've seen over a 2-year span. Right after that first year with Adam Gase, we did not expect them to go to the playoffs the next season. We expected them to improve, build on some things. Hopefully Tannehill's healthy. Still some uncertainties and some question marks. After the 5-11, we were expecting them to go to the playoff, or at least improve in year 2 under Chris Greer. Or under Brian Flores, excuse me. And that's because we saw something with nothing. And the expectation is the same thing. You did something at 10-6 with pretty much nothing. And you've upgraded a lot this season at your skill positions. You need to get a running back. You need to get either Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase at 6. That's got to be the wave. But we'll get into that more when we come back here. We're going to have Inside the Paint. It's going to be Ira Winderman and Ethan Skolnick, of course, here from 10:30 to 11. If you're watching in the YouTube chat, make sure you continue to watch on that. We'll be back again, like I said, at 11 o'clock. We will continue with the show and get everything going. Every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily, as is the E-Minute. Search Onside Radio on all platforms, subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.